Hello and welcome to Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl. I am a master of my fate and the captain of my soul by Ernest Hemingway. I would like to change this a little bit for you. You are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. It amazes me how many people question me, what does unconditional love mean? Or they just look at me with a blank stare. In fact, I keep getting funny looks when I mention these words. With everything that's going on this planet, we need reminding more and more all the time. Money does not come first. Love and unconditional love need to be first in our relationships. So many people are just numb emotionally and just do things automatically without some conscious thought when it comes to money. As I have said before, and I will say another million times, practice unconditional love by not criticizing, not judging, and having compassion. Loving yourself the way you are and loving yourself the way you're not. You have your uniqueness in this world, as every one of us does. With unconditional love, we can all fly to new heights that you can only imagine in your dreams. I'd like to share some grounding and profound advice that I work and I try to achieve myself in my everyday dealings and actions. This is what mentally strong people do to live fulfilled and happy lives. This is spiritual muscle. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. Mentally strong people don't sit around feeling sorry about their circumstances or how others have treated them. Instead, they take responsibility for their role in life and understand that life isn't always easy and fair. They don't give away their power. They don't allow others to control them. They don't give someone else power over them. They don't say things like, "My boss makes me feel bad," because they understand that they have control over their own emotions and they have a choice in how they respond. They don't shy away from change. Mentally strong people don't try to avoid change. Instead, they welcome positive change and are willing to be flexible. They understand that change is inevitable and believe in their abilities to adapt. They don't waste energy on things that they can't control. They won't hear a mentally strong person complaining over lost luggage or traffic jams. Instead, they focus on what they can control in their lives. They recognize that sometimes the only thing they can control is their attitude. They don't worry about pleasing everyone. Mentally strong people recognize that they don't need to please everyone all the time. They're not afraid to say no or speak up when necessary. They strive to be kind and fair, but can handle other people being upset if they didn't make them happy. The mission of our show is to raise the consciousness and healing with a relationship with wealth and currency and apply unconditional love. Our guest today is Kate Winch. Kate Winch is originally from Somerset, England, where she was a veterinarian nurse. She has been in San Francisco for over 20 years. Kate is an emotional freedom techniques practitioner, EFT, and speaker, and she is passionate about teaching this technique to the world. With more than 17 years of experience in the personal development industry, Kate has helped thousands of people clear blocks, known and unknown, that stood in their way of their experiencing greater personal and professional success. Kate started out as a massage therapist. She studied personal growth for years, learning about transformation coaching and leadership. She also became a hypnotherapist. She then discovered EFT about 7 years ago and was amazed at the incredible results this technique produced and became her main work. She now leads abundance tapping workshops and teleclasses and works with people all over the world via Skype or the phone. Kate feels incredibly grateful to be living in San Francisco doing what she loves. This is part one of a two-part discussion with Kate. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you.
I already did your introduction, and wonderful that it is. And you know, it's really a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. It's really exciting.
And share what you do. Tell us, I mean, I know you're from Somerset.
That's
originally,
right. Mm-hmm.
and you live in San Francisco.
I do.
for 20 whatever years, and I know your brother, or at least I met your brother. That's how I met you.
Yes.
So tell us about what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, my passion is emotional freedom techniques, and it's one of the most powerful tools I've come across in like 20 years of personal growth and training, and I just love teaching it to the world, basically, because it's something that you can do on yourself if you're having a stressful day. And it's becoming really mainstream these days.
I was exposed to it about 2.5, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
but I've actually participated online
Yes.
with some major people that have supported it. So I totally understand. I mean, maybe not totally understand it, but I know that it's. I mean, I'm glad that it's another tool for
Yes.
helping people become free.
Yeah, it's really extraordinary. I think there's a New York Times bestseller that's just come out called The Tapping Solution, which is, making it more available to the world. And they've also been doing some really great work with like the Newtown disaster and war veterans and just clearing trauma. It's also you can use it for anything, but
right.
there's so many things you can
So
use it for.
how did you really get into it? I mean, what?
Yeah, that's a great question. I originally was a hypnotherapist, and my aunt is a therapist in England, and she introduced it to me one afternoon in England in a little cafe.
So it was in England before here, or
No, it's actually from here.
from here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then your aunt's on top of things.
Yeah, I
then.
know.
She's ahead of her time.
Yeah, and she introduced it to me, and I thought it was a really, really strange. Tap and say these words, and then I saw the results, and I was like, I don't care, this works. And then my sister tried it, and she said, oh, you have to go and train. This is amazing. And so I ended up training. That was about 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still skeptical. And then the more I got into it, I became like a sponge, and I just learned and studied it. And it was amazing. And it still amazes me every day, pretty much.
Well, and when you're practicing with other people, you're doing it for yourself as well. So
Yes.
that's the beauty of giving.
Yes,
because
yes.
you're giving to yourself.
I know. I feel so grateful that I get to do what I love and make a difference in others' lives, and it helps me too.
So tell us about it, from a core level, because I think even though that I've heard about it, there's a lot of people that don't really know what it's about. So please teach us.
Yeah. So, emotional freedom techniques is also known as EFT or tapping, and it is like acupuncture without the needles. So it's energy therapy, and what happens is negative emotions can get stored in the body, like grief and anger and anxiety, any trauma that we have from our childhood or in our adult life, and it creates a disruption in the body's energy system.
Yes.
And
the meridians.
Yes, exactly. And so what happens is, we have all this stuff that happens to us throughout our life, and it can get really, and then we can get really stuck energetically and feel kind of run down or tired. And what this does is it gets the energy system running again and flowing. And the reason I love it so much is because you're working actually with the body. You're tapping on different points, and then you're also working with the mind. So it's a powerful combination of the two.
The concentration, the mind-body connection.
Yes, exactly. So I love, some things are just mind, some are just body, and I love the combination of the two.
Yeah. So where do you usually start? How do you usually, do you pull out where someone, like your client, where they're having an issue, emotionally or physically or both, or
Yeah. Well, you can use it for pretty much any area of your life. So health issues, finances, work stuff, relationships, you name it. There's an expression called "try it on anything." And
so, where do you work with the finances? Since my show is healing around money.
Yeah.
Where do you specific? I mean, maybe there's several different places, but where would you start?
Do you mean like the tapping points or the conversation?
Well, the conversation and the tapping point.
The conversation. So the tapping points are the same for whatever you're working on.
Oh, okay.
But where I would start with a client is, you know, if they came to me and they were really stressing about money and they were just like, oh, it's not working out, it's not going well. And a lot of people really stress about finances.
I know.
You know,
That's
it's a big deal.
That's why I started my show.
Yeah.
To heal that relationship.
So great. It's so great. Really, there's so many people that are struggling in that area.
About 97% of the population.
Wow. I love that you're doing this show. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I've done the studies and it's really a huge global issue. So if we start local.
I know. And if, you know, and when you are struggling with money, it's something, it can be very consuming and very stressful.
Well, and the media doesn't
energy.
help either because of the negative, you know, there's a lot of negativity out there.
Yes.
And we have to shut it out.
I know, exactly. So, you know, if somebody came in and they were really stressing, I often work with people who have their own businesses and they're like, oh, I need more money or clients or more, they feel like they're not producing the results they want. And one of the first questions that I'll say is, what's your theory, you know, about why you're stuck?
Right.
And, you know, they'll talk about the pattern I'll ask them about the pattern that they've had around their finances, and often, you know, it starts off with their childhood.
Right. Well, it always starts with the
childhood. Yeah, exactly, of course. Also, I ask them about how they feel about the issue, you know, the financial struggle. So often, you know, there's shame, there's guilt and shame about it. There's fear, there's anger and frustration, often at themselves. And it's, you know, and those negative emotions can keep you really stuck in that situation. Right. And what I find often is when I work with people, you know, as you clear the guilt, the shame, the fear, the anger, the frustration, and whatever else is going on, the person relaxes more and starts to feel good and more peaceful. And then often that's when the results, you know, shift, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, this happened and that happened. Yeah. And just to have that deep sense of peace, you know, even if they are in debt.
And empowerment. It's empowerment to be present and conscious and aware. Yes. That's why I say wake up.
I know.
Because it's very empowering for the individual, and it needs to start from from your inside out.
Yes.
So thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Yes, I love it. I'm very passionate about it. So, yeah.
Well, let's do an example of how about fear of success? How would you approach fear of success?
Yeah, great question. So fear of success. It's interesting because people rationally they'll go, I'm not afraid of success. Of course, I want, you know, this and that and the other. And there's a fear of failure, of course, but there's the fear of success is often not as obvious.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's about, were you going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, do you find that with that dynamic of fear of success, that what really ultimately shows is that they don't take the action they need to?
Yes, a lot of procrastination.
Yes.
And sabotage.
Yes.
You know, sometimes they'll start producing results and go, oh my gosh, this is happening, and then they'll get uncomfortable, like, because it doesn't, you know, it's not what they're used to.
Yeah.
They're used to struggling, and things get good, and they want to sabotage it and get back to that comfort zone of struggle.
Right.
Even though, you know, part of them is like, of course I don't want to struggle.
Such an old pattern, and it's like you're stuck in this rut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you do? How do you
So first, you know, I would ask the person, you know, what number we would measure it. So 0 to 10, the fear of success. So 10 is I'm terrified, and 0 is no, not at all. It's not an issue for me. And so, do
you ever have someone that says 0 and you know that it's not 0?
No, usually they know, they know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But occasionally, there'll be a subconscious block where they'll go, that's not my issue at all. And then as we're doing the tapping, they realize.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's interesting. So we have them give it a number. So say 10, I'm terrified. And often there's a fear of shining, a fear of being seen. a fear
Shining.
of...
You mean like being in the spotlight, or
Yeah, and you know, as you get more
recognition.
It can be like that. As you get more successful, you get more
Right.
attention.
Yes. Yes.
And
I can relate to that. But
Right.
I'm getting past it.
I know.
I am. I have to.
Right. I know. It's very exciting. So yeah, just working on the fear of shining. Like I used to be terrified of public speaking. You would never
Yes.
get me in front of a room. And I actually used the tapping to clear my fear
Oh,
of, and now I
good.
lead workshops and teleclasses and
Right.
yeah,
right,
and it's kind of miraculous because I was painfully shy, and you would not get me in front of a room. So.
I can relate. I flunked
Oh.
speech in high school.
Oh,
I mean, I
wow.
made up for it because I had to graduate, but I totally can understand.
Yeah, wow. It's so great to finally to clear the fear of shining and the fear of success. So basically, what we would do if I was working with someone is we'd always start with the part of us that doesn't want to change. So part of us is saying, of course I want to let go of the fear of success, and then another part saying, no way, we've got to hold on to this.
Okay, so how do you get beyond that?
Well, we could do. Would you like to do some
Well, sure.
tapping?
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you're here.
Yeah. So for the people watching, they can at home they can tap along and pick an issue. You know, whether it's fear of success or whether they're stressed about money. And then if everyone taps along at home, that can be something they can do and actually experience the transformation.
So you start here.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is known as the karate chop point.
Okay, so what does that do? What is this point, and where does it, what point does it actually address?
Well, it's very good for stress and anxiety. This is where we always start.
Okay. It doesn't matter which hand, right?
Doesn't matter which hand. And what happened was this used to be a very complicated procedure, and Gary Craig, who's the founder of EFT, came along and made it very simple.
Oh, okay.
So that anyone can do it.
Right.
And that's
right.
what I love about it. So you tap on the side of the hand,
Right.
and then shall I just lead you through some
No,
tapping?
no, that's fine.
So everyone would repeat after me, and you can do this. You'd say, even though I have all this fear of success,
Even though I have all this fear of success,
and I don't know how to let it go,
and I don't know how to let it go,
maybe it doesn't seem possible,
maybe it doesn't seem possible,
but I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
And then you'd go, even though I have this fear of success,
Even though I have this fear of success,
and I refuse to let it go.
I refuse to let it go. See, I have a hard time with that. I want to say, I want to let it go, I want to let it go.
Exactly. Because rationally, we do want to let it go,
Yeah.
but there's this part that's, obviously holding on to it.
So you doing that, saying, reiterating that I say that again about I don't want to let it go.
Yeah, you're just acknowledging the part of you that doesn't want to change.
So that's why you're saying that.
Yeah.
So you're just acknowledging that.
Yeah, which may
Okay.
be conscious or unconscious.
Okay. But
there is-
it brings to the conscious
Yeah.
if it's unconscious.
If there's an issue, it's like there's definitely part of you that doesn't want to change.
Yeah, okay.
Even though the conscious part does.
Right.
So you would say, even though I have this fear of success, you say it 3 times.
Even though I have this fear of success,
And part of me doesn't want to let it go.
and part of me doesn't want to let it go
For whatever reason.
for whatever reason.
Maybe it doesn't feel safe.
Maybe it doesn't feel safe.
I can't relax about this.
I can't relax about this.
I have to be on guard.
I have to be on guard.
And I love and accept myself anyway.
And I love myself and accept myself anyway.
Even though I have this remaining fear of success,
Even though I have this remaining fear of success,
I'm open to the possibility I can let this go
I'm open to the possibility that I can let this go
and empower the part of me
and empower the part of me
that feels surprisingly calm and confident.
that feels surprisingly calm and confident.
It's safe for me to succeed.
It's safe for me to succeed.
And then a deep breath. And then we go to the eyebrow point. So we go where the brow ends near the nose, and you tap with a couple of fingers lightly, and you'll say this fear of success.
Fear of success.
Side of the eyes, this fear of success.
Fear of success.
Underneath the eyes, this fear of success.
Fear of success.
And then one hand under the nose, this fear of success.
Fear of success.
Chin point, this fear of success.
Fear of success.
Collarbone, this fear and anxiety
Fear and anxiety
about success.
about success.
And then you go underneath the arms, about 4 inches down from the armpit, all this fear of success.
All this fear of success.
And then rib cage is exhausting.
It's exhausting.
2 wrists together. What if I could let it go?
What if I could let it go?
I'm so tired of suffering about this.
I'm so tired of suffering about this.
So that's just one little round. And then
Okay.
you close your eyes and take a deep breath and just really check in and see where the number is. But usually I do something a little bit longer, but that's just acknowledging the issue.
That's
saying,
just a tease.
Yeah.
I mean, I already feel physically relaxed.
Oh, good.
By doing that.
Yeah.
I just like, I could feel it. Relax.
Yeah, it's like the body's all like, and then, you know, just by tapping, it just really calms everything down.
Well, it's all those meridians.
Yes.
See, I've studied Jinshin Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, yes.
So I'm aware of, I do that every day.
That's so great.
So it's on the same level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we do is we go into the negative and have a good, what I like to say.
So sorry,
yes.
Go ahead. I mean,
we kind of have a good vent and really express how, you know,
the negative
and like, you know, I'm scared.
To bring it to the surface.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you feel like it comes down a bit, and then you start thinking, oh, what if I could let this go? And then you start bringing the positive.
And then you replace it with the positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
And so you tap on all these different meridians so it can flow, and you're unblocking wherever it is in your body.
Yes.
That's why you're doing the different points.
Yeah, exactly. And by tapping on all the different points, it gets the energy moving.
What happens if it you know, there's a part where it is blocked and you have to, I mean, you just keep doing it until.
Yeah, if somebody's really, really stuck about something, like yesterday I was working with someone around procrastination, and, you know, and again, it was tied up with the fear of success. You know, if we keep procrastinating, we're never going to get to where we want to go. And it's kind of fun just to give that part of you a voice, like, I don't want to do this, I refuse to, you can't make me, as you know, tap around the points.
Child.
Yeah, exactly.
The stubborn child.
And then you realize you know, the cost. Well, this is kind of exhausting. I'm suffering about this. It's not getting me where I want to be. And it's like having this conversation, and then you think, oh, you know, I'd like to let this go. And it's really great. You know, I help a lot of people who are just not in action, and then after we've tapped, they're ready to like go. They're like, oh my God, I cleaned my desk, I made these calls, and they did all those things they've been avoiding.
They needed the assistance and,
yes.
and that catalyst to
yes.
get them past that place.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. So what else can you teach us about that?
Yeah, so, well, I love to call it abundance tapping, because I find when you tap...
abundance and wealth covers everything in life. It isn't just material.
Exactly, I agree. I mean, to me, abundance is peace of mind.
Oh, my goodness.
And just really enjoying your days and having a nice... Attitude, exactly. And, you know, money is great too, but it's, you know,
it's all part of it.
Like you say, it covers everything.
Yeah.
And so I find when I tap, or when my clients tap, you know, if I'm feeling stuck, I'll tap, and then something great will happen. Like I'll get an unexpected check in the mail, or I'll, you know, run into somebody unexpected, or, you know, I just find that it kind of gets me in the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that zone is wonderful.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Being in that zone.
Yeah.
If we could be in that zone all the time, but then you know, where's the balance?
I know.
You know,
yeah, we have the highs and the ups and the downs.
That's, I think, being human. Yes. Don't you think that's being human? Like when we have, it's
yes.
like that ebb and flow, and
yes.
hopefully the ebbs and flows get a little bit easier. And it does get easier.
I know.
It does get easier.
It does, totally.
Because when you trust.
Yes.
When you trust in that divine energy.
Yes.
It's so much easier to deal with any challenge, or that rub, or whatever
yes.
you want to call it, you know,
yeah.
friction, you know, it's easier. But then when the friction happens, or when that rub happens, there's a reason for it, because we need to keep growing. And what are we here for if we're not here to keep growing?
I know,
to me,
exactly.
You know, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want to die yet. I have a lot of work to do.
You do. You're on a mission.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love what you said about one of my favorite things that I use in the tapping is the divine order, you know, trusting the divine order. And like I love Louise Hay, all her affirmations.
Oh, yeah,
like
she's wonderful.
Everything's working out perfectly. Like no matter what happens,
Yes.
you know, you're going through your life and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what is going on? And just to come back to like all is well, everything's working out perfectly, and trusting in the divine order and looking for the good that comes out of the situation.
That's a big key.
Yeah.
You know, for a lot of people that don't have that connection to spirit, to the universe, to God, whatever you want to call it, when people don't have that connection, I think that they're always looking for something.
Yes.
You know, because it's beyond yourself. It's beyond this body. It's beyond, you know, and that's when you can, I mean, that saves me every time.
Yes.
When a challenge comes up, it's like, then I can go back into my spiritual self, and it's like, I know that there's a higher reason why everything is happening. So, okay, I may not understand why it's happening, but
yes.
I will.
Exactly.
In time.
It will make sense. It
will
unfold.
Because everything is like you said, it has a purpose.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for being here.
My pleasure.
I'll leave you with this. Never give up on your purpose and passion. Work with integrity and have a positive attitude. Wherever you are, work, and please, first and foremost, with your family and friends. Be grateful for what you have, who you are, and where you have come from. And be grateful for your freedom and eat healthy. Good nutrition feeds the mind and your body temple. Don't forget to keep moving your body by working out, feeding your spirituality with meditation and prayer. With unconditional love, love yourself unconditionally and share your abundance and wealth with others. Thanks for watching. When fear knocks, let faith answer the door. Money is like love. It kills slowly and painfully. The one who withholds it and enlivens the other, who turns it on his fellow man, by Khalil Gibran. You are what you are and where you are because of what has gone into your mind. You can change what you are and where you are by changing what goes into your mind, by Zig Ziglar. Bye for now. Until next time.